Anybody who's training for anything, the vision you have is key to keeping that momentum going for whatever you're training for or working towards, you know.
That's a shit idea.
Yeah.
You're gonna believe that.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you know yourself, you see, okay, this idea, it can and it can't work, but I'm feeling it can really work. Even if it messes up, it's okay. You've assessed all the goods, all the bads, and most importantly, your self-ability to be able to do it.
If that's willing to squash you, you need to level up. You need to up your self-belief. You need to up your confidence, and you need to find a way to do that, because that is going to be game changer for you and your own progress. And if you don't have that, you need to find a way to have that.
On this podcast, we have to start off with the show slogan. If you know it, please repeat it with me. We are in the real world, and what do we do in the real world? We talk.
Real talk. I said it. I was not ready. Okay.
Conversations. I'm the host once again, the fellow explorer. Bro, okay.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Tight. Hello. What is up? And welcome to the I Talk Real Talk podcast. My name is Luna Mari. I'm the host of the show and your fellow explorer on the journey of life. On this podcast, we have to start the show off with the famous slogan. If you know it, please repeat it with me. We are in the real world, and what do we do in the real world? We talk
real talk.
That's the one. In today's episode, we are going to be delving into two fundamental aspects that shape not just our present, but our entire future. The significance of having mentors at a young age, and the undeniable importance of embracing exercise from early on. Growing up, we're often told that the path to success is a solo journey. But what if I told you that having a mentor at a young age can be a game changer? Today, we're going to unravel the profound impact mentors can have on our lives, especially when we're navigating the labyrinth of youth. Me and Cory, who's going to introduce themselves, will share stories and insights that highlight the transformative power of mentorship, exploring how wisdom of those who have walked the path before us can illuminate our way forward. But on this topic as well, as I've just said, I'm joined with Cory O'Donoghue, a personal trainer, a well-rounded young man, and inspirational to many people who look to take their looks and health to the next level. So, Cory, tell me a bit about yourself, man. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Firstly, thank you for the invitation on. As I said earlier, watching some of your little solo stuff, it's a very interesting conversation that you can have on your own.
Absolutely.
So to be part of that is pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So a little bit about me, as you said already. I'm a PT. I'm also working as an online coach, so trying to really build up the coaching business. And just generally enthusiastic about like the fitness and the mindset that comes with it. Like when I think of my hobbies, my passions, everything is geared towards just being like the healthiest mentally and physically version of you. Okay, so that's like pretty much sums up everything I'm pushing towards, whether it's in regards to my training or just my work or everything about around that.
And that's very important, to be honest with you, like the whole aspect of exercise. I mean, we already know the benefits of like freaking, working out a few times a week. It makes you feel good. I mean, is it like a study that's done, like you release like positive chemicals in your head for like what's it called?
So like dopamine. Dopamine. You get a massive bit of dopamine when you do physical workouts or anything physical. Like it doesn't matter if it's in the gym. It can be like literally any aspect of movement at all. Whether you're walking, cycling, swimming, boxing, training weights, that little bit of dopamine is essentially
makes you feel good. Yeah,
absolutely.
And you know what? Yeah. So first things first, as we continue with this episode, it's kind of crazy. I gotta say this for anybody that's watching or even going to be on the show soon as well. The conversations we had before actually recording, bro, they flow so well, don't they?
They were fire, man. It was like we spoke for like an hour and a half before the podcast got started.
Yeah,
we didn't even begin, we were just rambling. It was good.
We looked at the time and we're like, bro, there's no way it's been like an hour and a half or something like that. Literally. So, and the difference as well is I'm trying to go and learn how to use a script as well to like, kind of structure a few points well, but at the same time, have a bit of free flow and everything.
Yeah. And
ultimately the goal for people is essentially get some value, get something useful and easily applicable in their own real life, Of
course, and I feel like that's like say going off your previous topics on your podcast and stuff, you're bringing that value anyway, and that's solo. So to come on and do it with you, man, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting into it deeply.
Yeah. So, before we start the whole interview part of this, and kind of learning more about each other, and also how we view certain things, especially like discipline. I'm really curious as to how you see the whole fitness industry, and at the same time, certain events, for example, building pressure. You remember that pressure conversation? Yeah. So certain moments in your life when you've experienced pressure, maybe self-doubt, or significant moments in your life that have benefited you, and have, what are certain skills that you've learned, right? So before we get into any of that, this podcast episode, there's going to be 4 different playlists that this attunes to. So there's going to be just hit record, It's gonna be conversations where you just free flow, talk about anything, fun experiences or whatever. There's gonna be, let's be real, literally in the whole like title. Love my ambition, which is what today's episode is about. I feel Cory is a guy who's like, like it's evident in the conversations we had.
Yeah.
You know where you want to go with yourself at only age 24, bro.
Yeah,
that's very
vision
admirable.
is clear.
Yeah.
Clear. And I like the title. I love my ambition, it works.
Yeah.
You're saying it as well. So yeah.
And like, let's even actually start off there, right? You're 24.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pretty solid idea of what you want to do, how you make your money, and how you want to carry yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of like excess or free time.
No, my schedule is pretty busy.
Pretty busy, yeah.
Day-to-day life, definitely pretty busy. There's a lot going on.
Take us through your daily routine.
Okay, daily routine. So juggling a few things, different things go on in the day. Every day has a little bit of time dedicated to the online.
Mm-hmm.
Monday is like my set day for doing all the check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going through all the clients. And then on a typical Monday as well, what I normally do when I am in Galway, especially over summer, get my run in just before I start off my day and my work. And the reason for that is like if I wake straight up out of bed, I go to my desk and I'm trying to do check-ins, I lack the energy. I can't bring the energy to these check-ins because my brain is just out of bed half an hour, I haven't done anything. And what I found was instead of going to a gym session, it takes me an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours. I like running anyway, start running earlier on in the year and it's become a hobby of mine. So having that 30-minute 5k run, just going out along by the sea back into the house. By the time I'm finished at breakfast, I sit down to do my check-ins. I'm sharp, I'm enthusiastic.
You're in the zone and everything.
Yeah, and I can bring energy to the calls to like give energy to the clients. So that would be like typical there. Go through the day's check-in, make food, eat lunch, go back to it, eat again, go do like a little class over in Dangan. It's another thing I have going on.
Dangan?
It's just an area in Galway. So it's like another hour class after that. And then that last bit of the evening, then get home around 7, half 7, is chill out time. And then through the rest of the week, then you're pretty much looking at a similar structure. Up early, try train early-ish, not at 5 a.m, not that at all.
Right.
But working around my work schedule as well. So I kind of have set times, working on a Tuesday, a Thursday, Friday, one day on the weekend. And within that then doing your little bit of PT, fitting whatever little online bits need to be done, adjustments to programs, calls with clients, whatever that is. And then of course, always the priority is getting that training in.
Of course, man, of course.
So that's at the moment, that's been 5 gym sessions a week, doing upper lower. That's upper lower, and then 1 functional day on top of that.
So when you say functional, what you mean?
So functional is like it's like full body movements. So I'm working on dynamic movements. So you're looking at like a single leg lunge into a shoulder press. All in one movement. You're doing reps on one side, reps on the other. Right.
So it's kind of like CrossFit type thing, right?
You could look at some of the exercises, they'd be more related to CrossFit than they would to the gym. But it's working on more than just build a muscle. Like I'm really working on like coordination, balance, stability, especially with doing that under pressure with a weight. Like a single leg RDL, I don't know if you've ever tried it with body weight. It's tough.
With just body weight?
With just body weight.
That's not too bad.
Dependent, so like just balance, controlling it, coming back up again. You add on 15 kg or 17 kg dumbbell to that and press and maintain your balance, it becomes very challenging.
Very challenging.
Yeah, it's for sure. It's probably one of my favorite days in the week of training. It's the one I look forward to most actually. I know.
That's crazy,
it's
bro. What
how
the hell?
it changed. I used to be just bodybuilding and now I'm getting a taste of this other style of training and I actually go into it with the most like energetic feeling. Like, right, I can't wait to try and push up today's numbers and stuff. Yeah, it's different.
And then that's crazy because when we're talking about, so basically what we're talking about was the whole competition aspect and of knowing ourselves. So you've said, if you don't mind me sharing this, that you out of your own like decision, you don't want to drink or you want to stay focused on all your things. And you had some experiences that made you kind of realize like this partying isn't for me. Doing wasting time like this. And when we say wasting time, like sometimes people think like the people who say, bro, you're wasting time, you shouldn't be doing like, you shouldn't be partying. Like I've been there myself, when you see someone who's actually on the grind and doing their thing and they don't want to do the things that you're planning to do with like your friends and stuff, they kind of look down on you instead of like appreciating you. So where am I going with all of this? When you're talking about like the whole experience thing and how it made you more sure of yourself, more like, competitive and everything. How did that come around?
So like, I've never been a massive drinker in my entire life. Like I used to go out, but I'm pretty sure that all my friend group would be able to vouch for this, is that I rarely get drunk. Like I'll be tipsy and I'll be happy, but I'm never drunk. That's just out of preference. My own preference is not because of any mad reason. It's just I do not really like the feeling of being steaming. I hate the feeling of being blackout drunk. For me, I get to a happy 5 or 6 and I'll just float at that level for my night out. I don't need to go any higher than that. So if that's 5-6 pints max, that's more than okay with me, and I don't have the hangovers and my week doesn't get messed up. But it really does boil down to like preference. And now, as I'm getting a little bit further into my training. I'm getting a little bit more focused on the business. So before, as I was younger, training was just a hobby. So if I missed that, day of doing whatever for a couple of pints, it didn't really make that much of a difference. Whereas now everything correlates to like the vision in the future, what's going on. Like the more my physique elevates in 2 years' time, that's going to stand more to the business. And it doesn't match me going on the beer twice a week and absolutely steaming drunk when I have stuff to do every single day.
And it throws you off, doesn't it?
It
really
throws
you
off the wavelength. Like, your energy the next day is warped. It can take 2 or 3 days for me to like fully get back to the middle of training and move away from like that feeling of hangover. And it's like, why would I do that when it doesn't match any of my goals? Nothing I have ambition towards matches drinking. It's what does drinking do for my physique? Nothing. It's gonna stop it growing. What's physique gonna do for my work ethic? Nothing. I'm gonna be lying in bed the next day thinking, I don't want to do this. Part of the business is taking sales calls, trying to bring on clients.
Sales calls.
Yeah,
I never use those sales calls in like fitness.
Of course, like a lot of the time, if someone's coming to you for potentially joining up with a client, one of the things you have to do is hop on a call, run them through the process, see if you're a good fit for each other. They have to learn to trust you before they just commit to paying you upfront for 12 weeks. So it's like you have to jump on a call. Most of my calls take place in the weekend because that's when people have free time. If I'm on the beer all day Saturday, I'm waking up Sunday dying, and I have to jump on a sales call with somebody to try and bring them onto my team and bring that energy. How am I meant to do that when I'm hanging, when I'm dying? And it's just doesn't align with anything I'm trying to do. So I'm taking away, definitely, as I said earlier, I'm going to take a step back from drinking. Don't know for how long. Might be 2 months, might be longer. Yeah. Definitely as it approaches into like that kind of November, Christmas time, I might ease up again. I might not. I don't know. But the main thing I know is it just doesn't match anything I am trying to do. So why would I do it?
And I was going to say, I really respect that, honestly, because even to reflect on this as well, like with me, like now is when I'm really kind of trying to take myself a bit more serious with the podcast. Just simply getting into the action of, posting, no matter what the likes, man. Sometimes you look at the likes, the views, you're like, bro, what is this?
You kind of get a bit too captivated by it. You put up something and you're like, how many views does it have? How many likes does it have? That's a hard thing to separate from too. Yeah. It is, and especially because like it's not just like a social post. I wouldn't care half as much as a social post. It doesn't affect me. But when it's on my Instagram for like the fitness page, I'm way more into it. I'm like, oh man, this one's doing really good. This is a shit topic. Why is this in the topic not? I put so much time into making this video and nobody watches it or gives a fuck. It's like, what? Why? So yeah, it does. It gets a bit of a hold of you.
I feel you on that one. But like saying on that, right? So the reason I kind of stopped posting for so long, bro, was because like I was so caught up in the views, bro, like my YouTube videos, right? Let me be honest here. They're not really getting that much of attention or anything. But I'm so sure of myself, like you're so sure of like your whole PT thing and everything. I'm so sure of like, I want to do this podcast thing. So I can't really drink because I went out like last week Wednesday and I told myself, bro, it's either go hard or go home, bro. Like literally, it's as simple as that. I went hard. I definitely went hard. Even went to afters and everything. It was fucking class, right? But it made me waste the whole next day. And then it kind of ledged on to the next following days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does that as well. And especially like you're a little bit younger than me. What age are you now then?
Just 19.
You're 19. Like that is so fucking compared to me now. I'm 24. I feel old as shit.
You feel old at 24?
I feel old as shit having this conversation. No, I feel young. And my mindset is like clear and stuff. And I feel like now at this age, at 19 it was not that. Now, as we said earlier, like I still had the same division, the same plans. It just at 19 it wasn't as relevant. You're still in college, you're still partying. And it's like it's so hard to separate from that lifestyle then. So like me making this decision now is coming from a place where that life is no longer with me. I'm not in college. I'm not like less responsibilities, because when you're in college it's like I just got to get a degree and do a little bit of work, whereas now I'm departed from that. It's like I have to build something for myself. My college days are done. I'm not just gonna sit around and keep doing what I was doing in college. It's not gonna fit in. So when you're saying that and you're torn between the two, like it's totally okay to have that when you're in college, but then again when you're fully focused on what you're trying to do, you have to weigh up your priorities. And if it is affecting, like if you're going off the way you talk, like you're so tuned into what you want, and is that going to have too much of a relation now? Is that going to blossom after college, or do you want that to blossom in college? Like sitting down with your thoughts and thinking.
So you're asking me this right now?
Yeah.
So personally, if I'm to be real, I would love for this podcast to blow up. Right now. Yeah. But the issue is I'm not yet at that point where I'm able to handle that pressure. You get me?
I do get you.
It takes
so much going on.
There's so much going on.
2 courses. You're working as well. You're trying to monitor this.
Exactly. So to even add on to that actually. So I'm doing my college course and I'm also doing the digital marketing course at the same time. obviously I'm trying to get the podcast up and running, simply get the consistency and simply get the dedication. I have this podcast. It is my responsibility to push it.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to bring value to people and make sure people learn something good from it.
Yeah.
So I have to hold myself to a certain standard. And one thing I've noticed from this last week of school, of me actually actively trying to do this, even though I wake up late sometimes and I sleep late and I eat like takeaway, bro, it doesn't matter. I'm still trying to keep myself that
it's that
disciplined
90% rule, like 90% of the time, 90% of the time you're tuned in, you do good. Like fuck that other 10%.
Exactly.
Have the takeaway. Have that night out and stuff. Yeah.
Don't be telling me this, right? I can't be doing this. I had some last
Dialing 100%, man. Don't be caught slacking.
That's what we need. That's what we need. But like, well, you said something just there where it was like you were talking about how you had that idea at 19, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's very important, and I'm always asking my friends this. It's very important for you to kind of like have an idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like done right now.
Of course.
But have an idea, write it down, and forget about it. But somewhere you can leave it. I'm sure that you do something like that when you're young.
100%. Like,
yeah.
As you said there, like when I was 19, I was training for about a year and a half at this stage, and I was nowhere near the size and capacity and knowledge or physique or whatever to double down and being like a PT or anything like that. And I was in college, so my priority was get the degree. That's more important. That was like a solidified plan. But at 19, I said I was going to eventually become a PT and do the online coaching coinciding with my degree. So at that time I was like, I'm going to do my software developer job and I'll do this on the side.
Oh, that was a funny one.
You know, but I was like, dude, it was doing the two side by side, and then it changed after that. Once the degree ended, it was like, no, max capacity into one thing. You know, put all my energy into doing what I really want. So, but at 19, there was a plan there. There was a seed, and 24 now it's come up, and it happened. It happened when I was 22. Like that's when I got my qualification. I finished my degree in 2021
for software development, was it?
Yeah, software development, and the same month I finished my degree, I went and started my PT course. So did that over the summer, then did that into like the September, October, and then started working in the next year in the PT thing. So it was a quick transition, you know, the plan, but the plan was there from 19, and it was pretty much followed through without the fact that I completely ignored my degree once I got it. That was the only difference in the plan. Yeah.
And I gotta respect that honestly, because once again, I know I might be like deriding you a little bit, right? But it's simply the fact that you're literally an example for what we're talking about right now. You know, because a lot of the times when I'm in college and like when I'm talking to my friends and stuff, it's like I talk to them and I ask them, right, so what do you have an idea now? I leave it every few weeks or every couple of months. Okay, do you know what you want to do for your specialization at the end of your course? No, not yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an idea between finance and marketing. I say, okay, at least now you have something. Okay, cool. Then another time I'll probably ask them, all right, what would you like to do in finance? I don't know yet. I'll see when I get there. Cool. At least you still have the idea. So it's kind of like, I feel us, and even pushing out, talking to people, have at least some sort of idea that at least after college you can have free time. You know, like when you have free time, there's something for you to do within that free time, at least to make you feel, you know.
And what you're saying there is 100% true. And it's like, you have all that free time to do something. But the thing is, majority of people don't know what the something is. And that's the key factor. So for me, I have one main hobby. Like, as a whole, self-improvement. That would be like my main hobby. Whether it's reading, training, doing stuff that just challenge me physically, like I love it, right? But that's my hobby, and thankfully that's a career path. So like for me at 19, coming into the gym after about a year, coming up to that year and a half point, something like that, I was like, okay, my main hobby, I love training. I dropped all my other sports that I had growing up and I just went into the gym, and that just kind of, I became infatuated with the idea. Love the training, love the pushing, everything. Loved improving physically and mentally and just getting more confident feeling that. And that then stems into like what I want to do with all my free time. And now thankfully all my free time is geared towards the same thing, but that boils down to passion and purpose. So like your two main things, if you have no passion, you have no purpose, what are you going to do with your free time? You have nothing to allocate yourself to, because you don't know what you want, you don't know what you enjoy. So it's like when you find that passion and you link it to your purpose, all that time in abundance now is occupied. Like my whole week is leading to the same thing. I'm either training people or working in a gym, teaching classes, doing the same thing. Like everything I have is geared in one direction. Mindset geared in one direction, training in one direction. And it's because of that passion and purpose correlating towards each other that I have the ability to do that. So if you're somebody who has loads of free time and you have a clear passion, something that you actually do enjoy in that, it can be anything. Maybe it's fishing, you know, and you want to dedicate all your free time to fishing and grow up fishing content, or look at an avenue where fishing can create you money. Or it can be, like I said, it doesn't have to be fishing, it can be literally anything. But if you put your passion and purpose towards your free time, that's when you're really going to reap the benefits of that.
Well, that was very good. I have something to add on to what you just said there. And so when I was working at, so I'm basically working at a takeaway, right? And there's this guy that came in one time. And I was feeling good, man. I was feeling confident. I just hit the gym, I'm on cloud nine right now, And he comes in and I start talking to him. I like to talk to the customer sometimes. If they look friendly enough, I'll talk to them. If they look nice enough,
Absolutely.
I'll talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to them and I'm like, so what'd you do today? And he's like, oh, I played my drums and this and that. I'm like, oh yeah? Are you good at them? Oh yeah, I'm alright, I can't really complain. I'm like, do you have any videos? He's like, yeah, I have it on Facebook. He showed it to me on Facebook. And one thing, bro, is when you judge someone for how they look and then you don't talk to them because of how they look.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to stop that.
Yeah.
So if I see you and okay, you dress a certain way or you do a certain thing, if I get the right chance to talk to you, I'll try ask you questions and then see if you answer them. And if you're enjoying the questions, I'll keep on asking you them.
Yeah.
And then help you, because sometimes you can actually talk to someone and ask them about the problems or whatever. You don't have to help them, but just by them talking, they automatically solve it in their head.
Yeah.
So I try to do that with a lot of people. And so he showed me his videos on from Facebook, and I was like, okay, the quality isn't. I'm thinking this in my head.
The quality, your video's kind of shit. The quality's poor.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, so the quality isn't the best, but he clearly has a passion. He just does it in his house.
Yeah.
And I told him, you should try to take this a bit further, man. Maybe make some content. And then he was like, nah, I wouldn't really be too keen on any of that. And I came to the realization, it's kind of like, so yes, we have a purpose. We have a purpose. Everyone has a purpose. It doesn't have to be like, bro, influencer status or whatever. As long as you're content with doing it. And there's the passion as well, right? But not everybody's really comfortable with actually pushing themselves out there.
No.
Does everybody... Will we say that people kind of need to learn how to push themselves out there? I don't know if you get into this.
No, I get what you mean. It's like they're lacking a little bit of confidence, a little bit of self-belief. When that is the case, what that person needs to do is learn to distill that within themselves. And that sounds like real philosophical when it's not. Like that stems from a place of you're lacking in confidence and you need to build that confidence up, and you need to build the courage and to take the steps to do that. So for example, that drummer guy, that is a passion straight up. That passion easily has a purpose. Like he could teach kids, he could teach classes, he could do one-on-ones. Like there's ways of making money within that thing there. Like that's your niche to drumming. That's absolutely perfect. If you're not happy working in a retail job and that's your main thing, you start doing that on the side and start building up a name for yourself and whatever, and then eventually what are you going to have? You're going to have a client base of people who want to learn the drums.
Even if it's just like 3 people, bro.
Yeah, and if you don't have the confidence to do that, you got to find ways to get out there, and that can happen in different ways. I'm not sure about yourself. Once again, I'll relate back to the gym for me. The gym has given me so much confidence, and it's not forced. Like I was definitely not a real confident kid whatsoever, and gradually now into the place I'm now, I feel the most confident I've ever felt in my life. And not in a bad way, not in a cocky way, not in an arrogant way. I just feel confident, and that all stems from me going on to the social media thing. I was not confident in that at the beginning.
Bro, I saw that little burpees video you and Miko did. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was fun doing it as well. Like it was absolutely disgusting, but it was just fun. It was fun doing it. Whatever that awoken inside my belly during that thing was just rotten. It was just burping and just that was good though. And it was the same. But even that was actually fun. Like, I look at that and we were talking about that. And I was like, let's do that. Like, that's actually gonna.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in no pain, no gain, bro?
No pain, no gain. I believe in... Once again, I'm going to get real philosophical, man. If you want a bit of mental fortitude, if you want to have a bit of mental strength, if you want to have a little bit of fucking chin up, chest out. Chin up, chest out, man. And you're thinking, right, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
And you can do it. And you don't complain. And you find a way to enjoy it. Man, that's going to make all these other little things in life just seem mediocre. They're not going to be that challenging if you're willingly and excitingly going to put yourself to something not extreme but physically challenging. Whether it's setting yourself a pace time in a run where you finish the run, you are going to be absolutely bollocks, right? That is what it should be about, in my opinion, to build up that level.
So then we'd say build up the level of so you enjoy it as you do. Simple as
I
that.
love it. Yeah.
What if you don't enjoy it?
If you don't enjoy it, even better.
But you're gaining something.
Yeah.
If
If you don't enjoy it, even better. Because
if you don't enjoy it, even better.
Even better, because what you're building on is your foundations. So you don't want to do something and you're doing it. That is discipline. You said earlier on you want to bring discipline into it. This is the perfect avenue for that to be. You don't want to do something and yet you're going to do it. And that can revert back to everything. Working, college, training, running, right? It doesn't matter what that is. You don't want to do it and you do it. and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it so consistently. Now it's second nature. Now you're full on into the gym. Now you love running. Now you're the best college student ever because you're not skipping any assignments. You're going to every lecture because you are disciplined in what you're trying to take on. So if you don't want to do it, more reason for you to do it. It's like a no-brainer, and you get into the habit of doing that, and next thing you know, you're like leveling up across the board in anything you take on. It's a massive game changer. So yeah, that thing of not wanting to do it, get it done.
And I feel the big thing with discipline, and the biggest thing with discipline is we're in our head so much, tomorrow, tonight, later, that we don't actually do it.
Yeah. 100%.
And the only way you realize that it's actually difficult to build this discipline. One time I made myself wake up at 6. I was like, 5.
Yeah.
And I slept at like 1.
Yeah.
And I went to the gym. And waking up wasn't the hard bit, right? Because I told myself, I feel like dog shit. Man, I just need to get myself in check again.
Yeah.
I slept. I woke up. I'm like, it's 5. I need to get up. I promised myself this. I got up easily.
Right.
I changed, drove straight to the gym. It was freezing in the morning. This was last week. I forget what day. Last week. Went to the gym. It was so hard to lift though because I'm still so tired.
The body's just not fired.
It's not ready. Yeah. And then after the workout, I was feeling great, man. Positive vibes all day. Bro, it's like 12 o'clock. I'm sleepy in class. Like, there's no way. So you're telling me discipline? I'm meant to be sleepy all day.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, there's no way. It can be like this, man.
There's loads of avenues to look at. Like, first of all, morning workouts suck, right? Morning workouts suck. I've done so many. My preference, train when you want to train, as in like train what works best for you. If your schedule only means you can train at 5 a.m, you need the discipline to get up and do that.
Yeah.
If you have the flexibility to train at 1 o'clock in the day, which for me is like my ideal time to train, my schedule tends to allow that.
Yeah.
And like, that's great. I don't need the discipline to be getting up early in the morning. However, if you're trying to build that mindset and you're trying to push that thing of like, I want to do hard shit, so I'm capable of it, then it is a little bit more and you feel tired during the day. And it's actually counterproductive, but it genuinely happens. You getting up early and starting your day, and if you keep momentum going, you will stay energized. But it's when you sit down and you're in fucking college listening to a boring lecture or chat shit, that is going to put you to sleep. Whereas if you get up at 5 and you train at 5 and then you go into work and you're on your feet all day, you're active, you're moving, you come in the evening, you haven't sat down yet, you're still doing all this stuff for the podcast, your brain is still running, you'll flow that energy through your entire day. But like you said, you get into college at 12 o'clock, you're sitting there ready to take notes, your eyes are going to shut, your body's going to shut down, you're going to get sleepy. That's inevitable, I would say.
Okay, it's inevitable, right? I agree with that.
For me, definitely.
It's inevitable, yeah?
I'm gone, sleepy.
A thing I read, I actually woke when I English. When I was tired, I looked up how to stay awake when you're woken up really early.
Yeah.
Constantly engage in conversation. Every time I could ask a question, even if it was the most irrelevant question, hand up. Yeah. Anytime I could talk to somebody, I'd talk to them because my mind would be awake for a little bit longer and then go back to sleep, and then I'd keep on talking to people just to keep my mind awake and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point, especially like you actively engaging with your lecturer or your teacher. Yeah. That's going to force you to, click back on again.
The focus to me, like for real, like I've seen people who were, when they were like younger, they were different. Like Miko as well. You guys are both very different now, and it's very, very like admirable,
Yeah, no, 100%.
What drove that? Like, okay, you can't really say because I guess now that you're aware of all of these different types of topics, right? So, you know about like journaling, you know about like discipline, you know about all these things now as you've matured. But like, if you were to talk to your younger self now, all right? That's actually a nice question. What would you tell your younger self from what you've learned now?
Everything. Okay.
Screw the PT stuff, right? Just give him some advice. Okay. What would you say to him?
The number one thing is just trust the process. The older I get, the more I just trust what's happening. No situation's a bad situation. Everything happens for a reason. It's all perspective, of course, but like everything that comes my way, I'm like, that's absolutely fine. Good or bad, that's absolutely fine. There's going to be something on the turnaround of that. And I'd love to put that perspective in me a little bit earlier.
Right.
And just, not that I never had it in a bad way, victim mindset is something I've never occupied, right? But it's like whatever the situation is going to be okay. And that thing of like manifestation, not that you like, I want a Lamborghini, I'm going to get a Lamborghini, but that thing of manifestation, law of attraction, what you put out is what you get back all the time. And putting that onto him at a young age, younger than what he kind of caught on to, would have been very, very beneficial.
Yeah.
Not that I ever went down a bad path or had any bad experiences, but it's something I value so much. It's something I value so much now in everything that happens that I would love to have had the same amount of value for back then. Like it was there, although the way I think now came from something, so it was always there. I've never had a bad outlook. I've never like victim mentality. I've never looked at any of my situations and thought this isn't fair, this isn't what it is. Everything has always been embraced, but I'd love to have the exact same attitude I have now back then, of really embracing everything that happens.
Do you know why I asked that question? Because mentors, right? Did you ever have any mentors growing up?
Mentors growing up, so
do you know what I mean when I say mentors? Like someone who guided you, yeah.
Someone guided you. So like number one for me, same as everyone else, would be a parent. Like my mother.
Your mother, yeah.
100% is a mentor. Really do say that. Like single parent and just massive. Single parent and massive impact. You know, really spoke true. Now, at a young age, when you're a teenager, you're not listening to everything your mother says. You're just not. You know, you're looking for a little bit more of a male influence.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, like my main one would actually have come from books. So books, yeah, believe it or not, I was a massive reader, still am, but I was being an advocate for like a great story. Okay. And a lot of the time that mentor would come from a book, and it's kind of funny. Like even now at times I'd refer back to like a book I read in a situation, which is crazy, and it's only something I probably realized when I was about 20. You know, I've read hundreds of books, but every story, hundreds, every book would have had like a key point, a key meaning, with like one key character who was like aiming for greatness. And it's always a story, never self-development books at a young age, just like one specific character who's basically taking on the fucking world and aiming for greatness. That was like, you add that topic into a book for me and I was hooked. But that transferred into like my actual thought process. You know, there's The Last Kingdom TV show on Netflix. I don't know if anyone has watched that. I read that before all the seasons came out years ago. And there's 14 books in that series alone.
14.
Right? And the way it's written and the stuff like that is like unreal for me. But what I'd actually do would like look at the character and the decision making and how they portray his pride, honor, integrity, and just general decision making of just trying to be the constant best version. That would actually be like a mentor for me, which is crazy to say out loud.
That's not crazy.
But like when you ask that question, that's genuinely what it is. I would look at all the books I've read as like that sense.
That is sweet.
On top of that though, you do have other ones as well, like, you know, coaches when you're training and stuff. And my granddad, but I didn't see that at the time when I was young, you know, like that came into the later years of my life when I was in around like that 20, 21, 22. That's when I really started to see him in a different, not in a negative way, like as a mentor, where I was like looking at him differently in a sense, like, you're a great man. Like,
you're that guy, bro.
But when I was younger and him not being in the household, I wouldn't see him that regularly because we don't, you know, we're not fucking seeing each other 3 times a week. So he wasn't prominent in that kind of space. So that would be pretty much a summary of like my mentor thing. Yeah.
Gotta say respect.
Well, but like you're in a position where like you're obviously in a single household as well.
Yeah.
Where would you have got yours from? Is it something that you just picked up through characters?
Okay, so that's actually, so I'd say it's very similar to yours, kind of very similar. So my mom, obviously, I look up to my mom. I mean, like, what I have right now and things that I'm aiming for. She's like my best friend, my comforter. As in, like, if I'm going through something, she'll never judge me. She'll always be there for me. Push me if I'm having doubts. Like that thing I told you about today, where people thought something was wrong with me, and like I'm just focused, literally. She'd like tell me like, look, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just focused, and they don't understand or they don't see that yet. And so simply keep pushing yourself forward. Another person, he actually used to live a couple of doors down. His name was Randall. He taught me how to drive. He taught me the importance of people skills, like how the power of a smile, always respecting people, talking to people, adding a bit of humor. He really taught me how to carry myself and use my own strengths to my benefit.
That's incredible.
Who else was my mentor? My cousin. His name's Samuel. I admire him. It's kind of like the books you're saying, where it's like ambition and everything. I have a little challenge with him. If he ever watches this, I would love him to watch this.
Little call out from
Samuel, you see me, but it's like, me and him have a challenge of who can hit the €1 million /pound mark first.
Big goals.
That's a big goal.
That is, someone's ego's gonna get fucked up. Someone's ego's gonna get. That's good.
But he has the age gap on. It's a good and a bad thing. So like, for example, he's 25. I think he's a year older than you. I'm 19. We started this when I was 17 and he was about 23, 24. He's winning right now because he has a career. I ain't talking no shit. Right? He has a career. He has the background. He has the experience in all these places to get a high-paying job really fast. But at the same time, he's very disciplined. He's the guy that's telling you that wakes up at 3 a.m. most days. Does his freelancing stuff in the morning, then goes to the gym, and then goes to do his work.
That's a big competitor.
Imagine how.
1 million. That's gonna be a tough kind of beat, man.
But
yeah,
my key edge is my people skills. And do you know why?
Right.
Because I love people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm enjoying talking to you right now. I really have to say that I'm learning so much from you. I hope you're also doing the same as well.
Absolutely, man.
But I have the age gap on him.
Yeah.
I mean, I have opportunities to up.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't, man. Because he
does
does,
it ahead in the game. Man.
Yeah.
He's 6 years ahead in the game.
He's six ahead of the game, but he can't have opportunities to mess up.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I have so much potential to learn and possibly get. There's different ways I can take this, but he's a guy that really motivates me. So someone's been a guy that's taught me how to like level yourself, look at investing, look at reading books, look at networking, look at getting internships and everything. So I have these positive figures in my life, and of course you and Miko when it comes to the gym and like pushing yourself hard. Yeah, you guys are definitely there for.
As well, like bouncing off in that sense too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'd say those are my mentors, and it's very important. I feel like for a lot of people, if you're listening on the Spotify or on YouTube, please do drop a like, share if anybody.
All the content.
Yeah, all the content. Just round that thing up, right?
Yeah.
But you need a mentor, and if you need a PT right here, okay?
I'm the guy.
Yeah, Cory O'Donoghue on Instagram. I'll leave his links on social.
coaching. Get on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on it.
But like, you need a mentor simply for the fact that they can literally help you shortcut life. Now I'm always saying shortcut life as in the fact that if you can, like I was listening to a sermon when I was driving to school today, to college. Learning from others and taking as much as you can, you become knowledgeable, I think. If you mess up and learn from your own experiences, you become wiser.
Absolutely.
But if you do not listen to what other people give you, like advice or experiences or wisdom, and if you do not learn from your own mistakes, you are a fool. You are a fool.
Quote. Yeah, no, that's
literally.
good, man. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I think I think we both like reassess ourselves a lot. I mean,
I think that's key though. Like that thing that when you said reassess
yourself
all the time. The way I would take that so seriously in the sense of I think it's key in every aspect of development, like what you're doing week on week. I allocate myself 1 walk a week. Like I walk everywhere. I'm not driving, right? In the process, again, that license, but
it's okay. We'll
I
just
would big time. But I would walk everywhere, headphones in, to work, from the shop, whatever. But I would still allocate 1 actual walk a week where you take the time to self-assess, and that is crucial because your purpose on that walk is to tune into what you're actually feeling and thinking. Okay, why is this week not gone my way? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? I'm a bit agitated. I feel stressed. I'm anxious or whatever the thing is at that time. You need to see why. Okay, is it because of work, relationships, friends? Okay, next week, this week was my ideal week. Next week, what do I have on? Okay, how do I make sure that all goes well? How am I going to structure my week? And that 30-minute walk, or it can even be an hour, whatever that time frame is that you need to self-assess is so important to you just trying to constantly level up. Because if you're looking at a phone, you're in your sitting room, you can't have that time to think and self-assess when you're in your sitting room. You know, I'm chatting this conversation, I'm watching TV, I'm watching Netflix, that thought comes into my head, my phone pops. My phone breaks, I'm looking at a text message, I go back in, that thought's gone. You're onto another thought now, something else is going to pop up, and maybe you want to look into that a little bit deeply. Next thing you know, your housemate walks in the door, and you're like, oh hey, what's going on, man?
And then you completely...
Yeah, and then the thought's gone again. So you're not having that allocated time to sit down and actually contemplate and think on what is going on, what am I feeling? Allocate that walk, give yourself that little... It doesn't have to be a walk, maybe you want to sit on your floor and meditate or stretch. It can be anything, but you need to self-assess for a block. And like I said, that is massive. So the fact that you're saying that is like music, I think that is insane.
Music, I like that. It's a big game changer on. It's like when we say game changer, bro, the stuff we talk about on this podcast, genuine conversations, things that are gonna build you up, Like we said, love my ambition. We are both 2 guys with our own separate pursuits for ourselves that hopefully in the process, correct me if I'm wrong, aim to bring value to people, make people's lives better, and grow as a community collectively. If you're not on that, get off. If you're offended,
Jump train.
Get off. Exactly, get off. But let me not get too mean here. I fully respect what you say, because if you don't know yourself, right? So let's say, for example, you have an idea, okay? You're not too sure of it yourself. You don't journal. You don't really know yourself. And then some random person or one of your friends or family member tells you, that's a shit idea.
Yeah.
You're going to believe that.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you know yourself, you see, okay, this idea, it can and it can't work, but I'm feeling it can really work. Even if it messes up, it's okay. You've assessed all the goods, all the bads, and most importantly, your self-ability to be able to do it.
Yeah.
if someone tells you you can't do it, you'll smile.
100%. And you know that like ties into everything that we mentioned earlier about finding your own space. You know, you have all that free time to go pursue something. Chances are the someone in your corner is probably going to do what you've just said and squash that. And if you don't have that little bit of self-belief, whatever, the confidence to go with that, you're going to listen to that straight away and you'll accept that. So it's by you saying that directly relates to earlier on. When you do get to that point, you have all the free stuff and you have a passion, you can identify a purpose. You need to be able to jump on that train and just go with it. And when you have someone who is willing to say that they're saying that out of a place of care, probably, you know, they're like, oh, it's not safe, don't do it, whatever. Hopefully. Right? Yeah, hopefully. That if that's willing to squash you, you need to level up. You need to up your self-belief, you need to up your confidence, and you need to find a way to do that, because that is going to be game changer for you and your own progress. And if you don't have that, you need to find a way to have that.
You couldn't have said it better. You really couldn't have said that better. I have to agree.
That's a great opportunity to speak about vision. So like, I'm an advocate.
Let's talk about vision.
I'm an advocate for vision. I've mentioned that word a few times today. And the stronger your vision is, the stronger you're going to be in pursuit of it. So like, if you're unclear what you want, your drive is not going to be there. You're not going to train the way you want to train, because you don't have that vision of how you want to look. You're not going to achieve your podcast because you don't have the vision of how big your podcast is going to be. You see your podcast as a vision, big scale, big numbers. That's vision, right? That's going to keep you momentum going. So I think that'd be a good thing to speak about.
Vision is a very important thing to understand your own actualization, your own confidence, your own everything. And it's funny we talk about vision right now, because at the beginning of my podcast, to give a little personal anecdote, I was so amped up on vision, man. I mean, I had everything written down in my journal. I let you show you the journal.
You did.
Right, so what's over there? This book right here has everything about this podcast. Layers and layers, like the whole thing. I don't know if you can see it from there. It's filled from the top to the bottom with everything to do with the podcast. So most of it anyways. I was so amped up because I had the vision. Yeah. But life comes at you.
Fast.
Okay, no depression.
Absolutely depressed. Throw that in there, curveball. Life comes at you. I'm depressed. Sound.
Yeah, so depression comes in. You know what I'm saying? Depression comes in. Stress of college and everything comes in. Yeah. The vision, I'm not reading it. I'm not reassessing myself. I'm not paying attention to it because I'm so focused on everything outside of it that I give all of my energy to that. Yeah. What happens? Your dedication falls. You don't give time for it. You don't care about it. You're not looking at ways to improve it. Everything falls apart. You get the vision again. You read it. I need to do this. Because now the thing is, when you find your vision, when you find your path, we got to stop saying that like your path, you have to find it. No, take your own time. But whatever you have, when you feel like you need to commit to something, whatever it is, you feel bad when you get off that path. I felt bad for a long time, most of this year. Barely uploaded, barely did anything, man. I kept on lying to myself. I'll get to it next week. Bro, I turned in like 6 months, bro. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. Yes, it's like a snowball
exactly.
Effect, yeah.
Exactly.
Happen in reverse as well. When you get the momentum, snowball effect.
It goes on, doesn't it? Yeah. And so now, I went to Kenya for like 6 weeks. Beautiful time there. A lot of life experiences.
I've seen the photos. They look fucking bliss, man.
It was beautiful. That women, bro. Beautiful. Anyways. Bro, I swear if you go there, man, bro, we're pulling, no problem.
Okay, I'm with you.
Bro, we'll go sometime. Even say like 10 years.
Say no more.
Yeah, aight. But like, what, like you just said, the snowball effect. I was like, I need to start the podcast. This is actually eating away at me because I feel there's something that can actually help people. There's something of benefit here. Yeah. Came back here, had to get myself sorted, car insurance and all these things, got all that sorted. And then another period of doing nothing. And then how did I even start this again, bro? I don't actually know. I think
talking about the vision. So like how vision the path basically essentially to strain off and getting back on. Yeah, so
basically I saw, okay, I need to actually take this seriously. And I decided and I told myself this whole year for second year of college, I'm gonna dedicate myself to doing all my classes. My vision is to get a honors degree, then hopefully a master's degree after that. Yeah. My vision is to also get to hopefully be able to monetize a digital marketing skill. That's my second vision. My third vision is my podcast. My podcast has to be consistent. Just push out content, fuck the views, fuck the likes, fuck everything, as long as it helps somebody just be 1% better, 5% better, 10% better. That's my vision. And as well, my body. I have to make myself look good.
Physique.
Those 4 or 5, that's my vision. And I'm fully tunnel vision, man.
That's so important though. Like your vision is what's going to keep you there. And majority of the time when people stop and start something, fail, whatever it is, you stop, you start, something goes to shit, you stop straight away. You're consistent for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it's done. It's because your vision is not strong enough. And see with clients all the time. Someone will come on the online coaching, or even PT, but mainly the online coaching, and they'll join in the process because in that moment they feel with a little bit of motivation, a little bit of inspiration to who the person they're trying to become is. That little bit of thing of, I feel inspired, my vision is to look like this, and they have that brief spell of it, and then 3 weeks in they don't see the immediate results that they want, that delayed gratification, they don't have it, and they're like, right, it's been 3 weeks, why am I not jacked, why am I not shredded? And then the vision's gone, boom, they fall off, they're not getting back on track, and it's so hard to pull that back on. Whereas in reality, you have to have your own vision there in the forefront of your mind, and that vision needs to be so strong you literally feel inspired by it. And inspired is such a strong word, but I'm saying it with 100% sincerity. Like if you don't feel inspired by what you're trying to do, you're not going to accomplish it. Boil it down to physique. What are you going to say?
What does it feel? Do you know, I don't know if you felt the feeling of being inspired by what you want to do.
All the time.
Describe the feeling. Describe the feeling for the people.
So I'll base it off the most common one, the most relative one to now. So I set myself a goal at the start of the year, and it was to begin running, right? And once again, the reason for that was because of the challenge. I hate running. I've never ran since I stopped playing football when I was 18. Wasn't a part of my life. So I was too comfortable in the gym, bodybuilding, training all the time, and I was like, I need to challenge myself some way. Running was going to be the way to do that. I had started in January, and I had a half marathon. No, I started at the end of January, and I had a half marathon in April. That was my first scheduled run, and I started running the most miserable time of year. Right, it is pissing rain all the time. Did like 2 or 3 weeks in a treadmill, and then it was all outside, because you have to accumulate yourself to what you're training for. So why would I train on a treadmill when I'm going to run on the road? It doesn't make sense. So I started running on the road. Miserable weather, wet conditions, windy. I was having awful time with my legs as well, like my shins and all that stuff was cramping, and yet I didn't miss one run or feel uninspired for 1 second, because my vision of me running a half marathon, training, it was going to be the marathon, ended up getting injured 2 weeks before that after.
Damn, man.
But we'll get back into that. But like the vision I had of me doing that after training for a couple of months, hating every minute of it, and now I love running. So it changed. Started getting that runner's high, but at the time, the vision of me crossing over a line, hating running, training for 3-4 months consistently, no drink at that time. Completely took myself off drink except for Paddy's Day. Right? Yeah, that was the only time, and the marathon was at the end. That was the only time I drank and enjoyed it. But the vision was so strong of me getting across that line, and in my head I was like, I'm gonna run that race so fucking hard. Like my body is gonna be fucked. Like I'm gonna have nothing left in the tank. I wanted to know that at the end of that race I had just ran the hardest I'd ever ran. And every time when I was running in the rain or whatever it was, I would just think of that moment of me going over the line. I would literally get goosebumps. I actually feel like I'm going to get goosebumps now.
Damn!
Like, I'm not joking. Like it's that intense. Maybe that sounds crazy, but that's how intense you have to feel with your goals. And it was like the thought of me doing that and just pushing through whatever amount of pain I was feeling, the burn. Connemara had a half marathon, and that last 3K in the race is like 15 to 18 is like uphill. And such an enjoyable run, 100%, but it's burning, and I was like, in my head I was like, I do not want to drop pace. The goal is I'm getting to the end of this line in bits, knowing I've just ran the hardest I've ever ran. And like when all that is happening, once again, that vision inspired me going over that line, knowing I had about 3 or 4K left, and my legs were burning because I just ran all the way uphill, maintained the same speed as the rest of the race. But like that was just getting me so into the run, and I was getting so motivated, so inspired. And then by the time I got to that, I was like an alleviation. I was like, holy shit, I just experienced what I trained for, and the goal was achieved, right? But the thing about it was the whole training block. Not every run went that well. Not like I had the fastest run every time. My energy was shit. Some days it was just miserable, didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, while I was running, not for 1 second did I feel uninspired, because every time I was reverting back to the vision. And the vision was me getting across the line. I can reference that so many times in the last couple of years within just physique training.
Wow. Or
or even now when I'm training, you know, the vision changes for me now, where it's like I'm not necessarily as geared towards as much of the physique. I'm actually thinking business. So now but once again, I have such a clear vision of where I'm going to go in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, that actually inspires me. So when I'm thinking of like not wanting to do any work, I'm thinking of myself in 3 years time and how that's going to look.
It's going to look on you,
Oh man, 100%. And that just gets me like in the zone. Or if I don't want to train, once again, the physique, the business, everything correlates towards each other. I'm thinking of that, and then I'm like in the zone again, always inspired, always motivated.
It puts you back on track.
And one thing I can say, like, I am disciplined, but I always feel motivated. So people say motivation comes and goes. my vision gives me the motivation and the discipline. Everything comes into like one full circle. Each one has effects on the other. Yeah, one full circle. If you just link all that in, you have a vision that's going to give you motivation, and the discipline is going to revert back to the vision. And you can, there's probably another little area you can add into that as well, but each one is going to correlate into the other. And if you really, really do have a vision, I'll look at like my training. You know, for years I have a vision of how I want to look physically, and I'm not there yet. And my training enthusiasm is still as strong as when I started.
Yeah.
And it's all because I'm not there yet, but my vision is so strong of how I am going to look. And I'm training for nearly 6 years now. 3 more years I'll be there. That's 9 years of training for one goal.
Jeez.
That's 9 years of training to look one way.
That's the importance of like the fucking long-term mindset.
100%. But like that is such a long time for me to think of this one goal that I have. 9 years away from the day I started training to look this physique. And it's like, and yet once again, I still feel just as much motivation and even a little bit more to train because now I'm that little bit closer. And I'm like, I can feel that coming on. Oh man, the fire is there.
Almost there.
Then leg days, I'm like about to go into some sort of movement and I'm like, look down, it's like, you're not there yet, man. Seriously though, but anybody who's training for anything, the vision you have is key to keeping that momentum going for whatever you're training for or working towards, you know.
I respect that. I really do respect that.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. I think not enough people realize how important it is. You name anything you've stopped and started. Why did you stop? It's because you lost the vision.
You lost the vision.
The reason why it wasn't strong enough to keep going. And it's, once again, it goes into that self-assurance, that reflection. You need to know what you want. You need to know what you want. And my desire to look that certain way, that is, I know that. I've known that for so long. Or my desire to like have that kind of future where online coaching, freedom, earning a decent financial status. The vision is there. I'm not there yet, but I have something to work towards all the time.
You have something small every day.
I know why, and the vision is strong. So I know I'm just going to keep going until it's done.
All right, there. That should give you perspective. 9 years for one goal.
9. It's not even a step on stage or nothing either. It's just for my own ego to like. I'm a slow gainer. Maybe if I had different genetics and I could be 3 times the size, I would achieve it 2 years ago. But the point is, I haven't got there yet. Yeah. And I still want to get there, and my why is still there, and my vision is still there. So I will get there. 3 years, and it's done.
There's a lot of wisdom for you to say right there, and me as well. I'm gonna rewatch this, take notes down, and be like, yeah, that's the one. That is the one. That off. So to finish off on this, right? Since you're a personal trainer, once again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your Friday
very much
to come and record with me. I really appreciate it, my man. What would you say to someone who is starting out in the gym, someone who's so insecure, not very confident, who doesn't see themselves being something for their own being? Yeah. So like, what advice would you give someone in that position?
Yeah.
Insecure, unconfident, just unhappy with themselves.
So that ties into literally the previous part of that conversation about the why and the vision. And that's gonna always be your biggest reason to get in there. So that person who is insecure, lacking self-worth, lacking self-belief, whatever that is, mental fortitude isn't there because they're just so much is missing. They need to first of all imagine how they would look and act and feel if they were the complete opposite of that. Imagine they walked into the room the most confident they've ever felt, with the most self-belief they've ever felt, the biggest, you know, the ego to walk into the room and be like, I'm the shit. Right? Imagine that person who's not feeling any of them can move over to the person who is feeling that. And now they're standing in the room with the 100% confidence in every single aspect. How are you going to transition from that person to that person? And that's not just going to happen by you just thinking, I want to train today. That directly ties into this vision of, I'm going to be that person. Why? Because this is the way I'm feeling now. This is the way I look now. I feel like shit because. And you identify every internal aspect you can to why you feel that way. And then you identify, right, how am I going to get there? The vision of me there at that finish line is by me training in the gym, is by me doing X, Y, and Z, eating right, sleeping right, getting to that point, and then it just starts to align up. So that person who is insecure, lacking the confidence, and wants to know what to do, they need to fine-tune their own emotions and feelings. Really diverge into why they want to do that. Is it because there's a girl you want to talk to? Maybe you got rejected by a girl. Maybe it's because because there's a couple of people in your school called you fat. Like, it could be anything. Maybe you're like loads of spots. For me, example, when I was that age, loads of spots, skinny frame. I was like, well, I can have spots and have muscle, right? Let's change the dynamic, right? But like, you know, whatever your reason why is, you need to really hone in on that and use that as the full momentum to get you to where you want to be, and keep it there all the time at the forefront of your mind. When you don't want to train, think, why am I training in the first place? Because I feel like shit. I'm super insecure. That's why I'm fucking training.
Yeah.
And by me sitting on the couch today not going to train, is that going to change how I feel? No.
gonna make
You're
it
going to
worse.
stay in the same runt. You're going to feel the same way. And you're the only person with the power and position to actually change that. There is no one else who's going to do that for you. And that's the way that person needs to think. And they need to analyze that and accept that and be like, I need to use my why, my vision as my momentum from now until the day I achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. That's my written off advice. Sign.
Very, very good. Definitely you've got something very, something. You got a lot of things from this.
I hope so. I hope there was a little bit of insight given there. There was a lot of offloaded information getting deep, but no, hopefully that did offer some value.
Yeah. As you listen to this podcast, has to always be reminded to you, you're taking on something big. You're taking on yourself. You're actualizing yourself and realizing you're capable for more than what you have right now. It's not being greedy. You know, we're not going to be greedy people here. But it's simply respecting yourself, disciplining yourself, deciding what you'd like to do, at least have an idea for now, write it down, and it will come to you in time. But you have to kind of make your actions align with what you're trying to do, what you're trying to do.
100%.
And slowly the right people will come to you, the right content will come to you, you'll read the right books. I mean, I read this quote just before we finished off where it was like, if you don't control what you consume, what you consume will control you.
That's wise. I'm telling you, that's honestly the way it is as well. You know, you need to be the power of your mind. You have no control over anything else. It's like you have to control your own thoughts and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as we end this podcast, that you gain something great, that you gain your knowledge, that you're a bit more self-aware, that you know that you have work to do. Tune into the next podcast and watch the previous episode. 3 E's: expose, experience, and evolve. It will definitely add on to what we just talked about today. It has been your boy Lino Mare. Please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and follow the Spotify. Rate the show a 5-star if you enjoyed this. Share with any friend kindly if you feel they need to go to the gym, if they need a personal trainer, if they need some motivation. We are the guys, so please send it on. And what will I say here? We're about to end the show with the slogan. We're now about to leave the real world because we've just talked.
Real talk.
That is the one, guys. It's been your boys.
That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to say fucking awkward thing. I'm like, no, a handshake is something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just bottling it, man. I'm bottling it.
But it's so
The ultimate awkwardness ever. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do here?